What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with my Week 13 running back rankings. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Post my weekly rankings every single week, along with waiver wire and a bunch of other good content to give you guys an advantage over the rest of the people in your league to bring home that championship. Just hit that subscribe button. It's that simple. And if you guys have any questions or comments, start sit decisions across positions, trade advice, anything like that, drop it in the comment section down below, and I respond to every single comment. So you have a fantasy helpline basically as well when you hit that subscribe button, and it just really helps everybody out. So let's dive into these Week 13 RB rankings. These are half-point PPR. At number 1, I have Saquon Barkley against Baltimore. He's been phenomenal this year, going for a lot of long touchdowns, and he leads the league in touches as well, which is a great combination, and he leads the league in yards per carry. So you get the ball the most, you're the most efficient, a lot of good things happen for you, and that's what's happened for Saquon this year. Not far behind him, I put them in the same tier this week as Joe Mixon because the matchup is so good for him against Jacksonville, and he's been excellent on a per-game basis this year. 3, Christian McCaffrey against Buffalo. This is a good matchup for him. The only thing I would monitor is Brock Purdy only threw one pass a day in practice. Now it is Wednesday. If Brock Purdy doesn't play, it's a definite downgrade for Christian McCaffrey, but it should be a good matchup for him if Purdy is in against Buffalo. 4, Bijan Robinson against the Chargers. Chargers' rush defense looked really bad this last week against Derrick Henry and the Ravens. I expect Bijan to be good in this one. Number 5, Derrick Henry against Philly. Not used to seeing Derrick Henry this far down the list. It was hard to put him here at 5, but that Philly defense is legit. And their front, especially their front 7, is very good in their defensive line. Philly has an awesome offensive line, though. Baltimore has an okay offensive line, but that's why I moved Derrick Henry a little bit down because of the matchup. And then at number 4, we get Alvin Kamara. He plays the Rams this week. We saw Saquon go off against them with the type of passing volume Kamara receives every week. He's locked and loaded in their lineup. Number 7, I have Jahmyr Gibbs against Chicago. Gibbs owners are definitely hoping he gets a little bit more of that pie come Thanksgiving Day this year with David Montgomery suffering a shoulder injury last week. He's questionable for the contest, but I do expect him to suit up and play. Have fairly similar to his normal role. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs gets 10% more work than he normally does, or 20%. But that's what I expect the situation to be like in Detroit. And number 8, Kyren Williams against New Orleans. I think this is a great opportunity for Kyren. Need a big week out of him this week if he wants to continue to be one of the top running backs in football for fantasy. He has not scored the same amount of touchdowns he has, only 1 over his last 4 games. If that number goes back up and he gets the ball, though, he should be good. That yards per carry number has been going up in recent weeks, so that's an encouraging sign. Achane against Green Bay. He's been catching so many passes, it's hard for him to have a bad game. And this Green Bay defense is good, but I'm not really downgrading Achane at all in this matchup. Just a lot of good players this week with no one on bye. Number 10, Chase Brown against Pittsburgh. He's been getting all of the snaps for the Bengals at running back, which makes him really hard to beat. And he's going to get a tough matchup against Pittsburgh. He's just out there so much he's going to score. 11, Breece Hall against Seattle. Monitor this one. Breece Hall might not suit up this week, and if he doesn't, obviously I'm not playing him. But pivot to Braylon Allen, you can definitely play him. Number 12, Kenneth Walker against the Jets. Should be a good game for Kenneth. They've been surrendering a decent amount of yards on the ground this year. 13, James Cook against San Francisco. We saw Josh Jacobs eviscerate them on the ground this last week without Nick Bosa. I do not expect Bosa to suit up in this game, so I expect a similar result from James Cook to have a really good game against the San Francisco front that's banged up right now. Fred Warner also has a fractured ankle that he's playing through, so definitely upgrade James Cook from where the San Francisco matchup was looking like a few weeks ago. 14, David Montgomery. He plays Chicago, revenge game for him. I still think he's got a great chance at a touchdown. I think he's going to have pretty similar to his normal role in this one. 15, Aaron Jones against Arizona. Good matchup for Aaron. Had a good week this last week. Hopefully that continues. 16, Jonathan Taylor against New England. This is a solid matchup for him. We've only seen him catch 3 passes over the last 3 weeks. That is a troubling sign, and he needs the goal line work, which Anthony Richardson has been stealing some of that, so that downgrades him for sure moving forward this rest of the season with Anthony Richardson in there. Not only does the offense not as good, but takes away goal line opportunities, pass catching work. Those are those valuable touches that you're looking for in a running back. 17, Chuba Hubbard plays Tampa Bay this week. Told you guys to roll him out last week, even in that tough Kansas City matchup. I'm doing the same thing in this Tampa Bay one. I know they've been pretty good against, or Tampa Bay has been letting up a lot of points to running backs, but their front is pretty solid against the run when Vita Vea is healthy. But I expect Hubbard, he's a stud, and I expect him to be able to get there in this one. 18, James Conner against Minnesota. This is a scary matchup for James Conner. Minnesota has been very good against running backs this year. Now, the encouraging thing for Conner is he's been involved in the passing game these last several weeks going back now. He's been catching a lot of passes. You need him to catch some passes and fall in the end zone if he's going to get there in this one because it's going to be tough sledding on the ground. 19, Bucky Irving against Carolina. Actually, I would definitely start Bucky Irving. This is live. We're moving this guy up the list. I'm putting Bucky Irving at 15. Reason being, this matchup is phenomenal for him. He's been the lead guy on the ground. Had a great week this last week. But Bucky Irving just had to be moved up that list. That was just a mistake having him where I had him. Hopefully that doesn't mess everything up. Shouldn't. Okay, 20, I have Jeremy McNichols against Tennessee. I think you're going to be able to play McNichols in this one with some confidence even. He's looked really good to me when I've seen him play this year. He's just looked really explosive. Looks like he gets through the hole quick. Tennessee's been good against the run, but lately they've been about middle of the pack. I think you can play McNichols in this one. I think he's going to receive a lot of work, catch some passes. I think he's going to have a good week this week. 21, Tony Pollard against Washington. He's been averaging close to 90 yards per game this year from scrimmage. That's really good, and he's got good, well, I don't know about good, but he has touchdown upside in every single matchup, especially this one against Washington. 22, Tyrone Tracy Jr. He plays Dallas. It'll be interesting to see. We saw Singletary get some more work last week after Tracy fumbled. Does that return, or if Singletary's mixed in, it could be tougher, but this is a great matchup for him on the ground against Dallas, and he's looked very talented this year. 23, Najee Harris against Cincinnati. He's received a lot of volume except this last week, but he's gotten some time off on the long week playing on that Thursday. Cincinnati's defense has not been good this year. I expect him to maintain his volume, which should be high for him. I think he'll have a good game in this one. 24, Rico Dowdle against the Giants, another team. They just cannot stop the run to save their lives. If we're talking about safety of a play, Rico Dowdle is actually favored in this game at home. I think he's a safer play than a Tracy or a Najee Harris, a Pollard even probably. Pollard's close. But I think Rico Dowdle will have a good game in this one. I think he's going to have an opportunity for 80 yards and a touchdown or more. Just with the way I see this game going, I don't think the Giants are going to keep it terribly close. And we saw the Dallas defense look better last week, which makes me think more positive game script for Dowdle. Number 25, my last guy, we got Ramondre Stevenson. He plays the Colts this week. Not what you hoped for last week in a good matchup against Miami. Indy's let up some play on the ground this year. Kind of hit or miss when their two star defensive tackles play. They're much better, but you can play Ramondre in this one. He hasn't been efficient, but you're hoping he gets that touchdown for you that makes his week. Alrighty, if you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thankful for everybody who's hit that subscribe button, everybody that watches my videos. Really love doing this and love getting to interact with you guys and have this channel. It's really awesome. And yeah, hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. See you guys next video.